But we are back in Audiosurf 2. This is the fifth showcase that the fifth showcase that I've done. I know I said I wouldn't do more of these probably until I get a optical drive or I'm able to get files from my massive selection of CDs. But a development occurred that allowed this session to happen. I had one other idea aside from getting an optical drive. I had an old phone. I think it's originally from like 2015, and I used it until 2018, 2019. But it had some of those old files on it, so I plugged it in, got the files off of that, and we have a lot of stuff to work with. Aside from that, I also decided to put in some things that I probably could have done at any point in time because I have them through iTunes. So as a result, we're getting a whole lot of stuff. We're getting all kinds of different genres. We're gonna have electronic. We're gonna have country. We're gonna have country artists trying to do electronic. We're gonna have alternative. We're gonna have like some hip hop stuff. We're gonna have some movie soundtrack stuff. We're gonna have some video game soundtrack stuff. I think the oldest song we're playing tonight is from 1980. And the newest song we're playing tonight is from just last year, 2024. So we're getting quite a range in there. It's going to be a very emotional night for me, as part of revisiting a lot of the songs. A lot of these tracks have some weight and significance for me, and gonna be pouring out my soul and telling you a little bit more about me than I've perhaps ever told on stream. And then it's all gonna get muted and copyright struck. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. But yes, most of the songs tonight are thanks to my old phone, which was a Windows phone. I had one of those, and I actually enjoyed it at the time. It was technically the first smartphone that I had, and I liked it a lot, and I kind of wish it was the thing that they continued to support. But I do Samsungs now, because I don't want to pay for an iPhone. Alright. So if you're fairly knowledgeable when it comes to some music over there, you may be looking over at those album covers on the left and realize that maybe some of them are not correct. So have you ever had a case where when you import a bunch of songs that like don't have their own album art, and then your PC kind of just seems to imprint whatever album cover it wants onto all of those? That's kind of what happened here. It's so this is from, like, I want to say a World song, like Hideaway, I think, which been a while since I messed with iTunes, but yeah. Yeah, so that's what happened. This is just from like a random electronic song. I want to say it's Hideaway by World, which we're not playing tonight, but it's kind of pretty like vague and almost generic album art when applied this way. For a while it was, and I'm glad it's at least in the recent songs there still, it was the one under there, which I'll give you a sneak peek of, if it's still, yeah. It was this Tom Sawyer movie album art. So there was a time while I was testing where that was all over everything, and it was going to be so much fun, but I had to restart my computer one time, and then it changed to this, and it ruined everything. But just imagine this all over everything, and sometimes it was on like the country songs, and I was like, close enough. But yeah, it's slightly less fun, but you still get to see it down there. Alright. Well, you two have been here before, but in case anyone else is watching, what we're doing is I've got a predetermined playlist of songs that have some significance to me. Bare minimum, they're songs that I enjoy enough to own in some capacity, but as I mentioned, there are some tonight especially that have some major significance to me, so I will be breaking those down, going into detail about that. And we're playing these songs and we're mixing them or trying to find a good match for them in the skins that are available on the Audiosurf 2 Steam Workshop. So we're getting custom-made things by other gamers and other Steam users that made these things and put them up there. And Audiosurf 2 is an old game at this point, so people may not be familiar with that concept, but it did have workshop content, and it was kind of the major selling point of Audiosurf 2, I would say. There's a bunch of different modes and stuff that you can do as well. I tried experimenting with some of these down here, but the execution left some things to be desired, and also I'm just kind of smooth-brained when it comes to this game. I don't want to try and play like matching games and stuff while the song is going. I'm used to like more traditional music or rhythm games where I just want to hit the notes, and so I just play on casual for that. Maybe another time when I get a little more used to the stuff. Like there's a Audiosurf D mode that it's kind of just casual or mono, but it's got a little bit extra to it. I mean, I could play that at some point. We may come back to that eventually in a different later session. But and for my own sanity, there's going to be a lot of new stuff in here as well. But for my sanity, we are going to be reusing some skins that I've used in the past. I tried to be nice about it and put a fair bit of distance between when we used them last, so I think I'm using quite a bit from the very first showcase, if anyone is around to remember that. If not, then it'll be a brand new experience for you, and that's great. But I will definitely point out what's new and what's not. I've got that outlined and everything, and I have a crazy ass memory with these things, so like without even checking, I can tell you what song I've used them on. And then a few just ground rules. If you're not familiar, this is a rhythm or music game. It's going to have a lot of flashing lights and all kinds of crazy strobe stuff going on. If you are a person with epilepsy or you're prone to seizures with that kind of stuff, I would not recommend the stream as much as I would like to have you here. For your own safety, you probably should not take part in it. Also, there's a slight chance, I'm not so sure about tonight compared to other nights, but there are some slight chances of content warning, trigger warning, whether it's language or some other kind of material like that. I will do my best to warn people when that comes up. But mostly it's going to be fun stuff. It's going to be a lot of nostalgic stuff, so it'll be good there. I'm not using any exciting controllers tonight. I am just using my basic bitch wired Xbox One controller. I usually try to pick a fun controller, but I've just been using that for practice, and there's some more important stuff going on tonight that we'll get to as to why I do that. But yeah, we're gonna, as I mentioned, we're gonna have all kinds of different genres from all kinds of different time periods. So if there's a song or two that doesn't necessarily appeal to you and you feel like dipping out because of that, you might want to stick around, especially till the end. Because who knows what could be around the corner. I mean, I do. I have a list, but you don't, so that's why you should stay. Alright. Because it's going to come up, I am wearing my Andrew McMahon 3 Pianos Tour shirt. The one time I went to see him. We are not going to have Andrew McMahon in the Wilderness like we've had before, but getting these old files off of my computer has been an opportunity to play the older songs, perhaps more significant songs to me. And so that's going to be exciting, but it's the most relevant. So we're hitting that quota. We are hitting our Owl City and Midnight quotas tonight. The only quota we're probably not hitting is Porter Robinson, but the previous showcase was kind of all about Porter Robinson because the new album had dropped, and we also got a Virtual Self song in there. So that was kind of I'm okay with that. I'm good with that because we've got 26 songs, ladies and gentlemen. 26 songs. What? That is, but yeah, that is almost twice as much as the previous session that we've done. Almost as much, well, even more than the original showcase that I did, because the original showcase went this shouldn't be too bad. I can knock this out in a reasonable amount of time. And then it took over 3 hours, and then it's been progressively reducing the list, and then maybe it can take a reasonable amount of time. And this time I was like, nope, fuck that, leaving everything in. All right, well, let me consult the list here. I have it on my phone instead of my computer to make it so things hopefully run better. Okay, so this first one, I am very excited about this first one. Most of these should be in recents, but I think, yeah, it's gonna be hard to find stuff because they all have the same fucking album art. Okay. Alright, so the first one is from an artist called Biffy Clyro. They're interesting because they are a Scottish rock band. I was introduced to them through Guitar Hero Live, which to get to know a little more about me, I really like Guitar Hero Live. When I'm sure there are a lot of people that didn't, but it just really vibed with me in every way, basically every way. I found it had so many songs on it that I already liked, and I found so many other cool artists and cool songs that way. This artist was one of them. I had not heard of them before, but they had 3 songs from the same album in that game. Black Chandelier is probably the most known one. They also had Victory Over the Sun, and I want to say Sounds Like Balloons. But I liked 2 of them a good amount, and then the third one. But I liked those songs enough that making sure the camera's away, that I got the album. Yes, we're going to have a lot of show and tell today because a lot of these are ripped from actual CDs that I own at one point or another. But yes, this is the Opposites album from Biffy Clyro. It's got a nice little pattern on the inside too. I like that a lot. But what we're going to be playing is the opening track of the album, called Different People. You can see it on the side. I don't know why I read it on the back. I need a different place to put these. Let's see. Okay. Just start stacking them over there because I'm wearing the headset. But yeah, so this is the opening track of the album. It's very interesting. Starts out very, very slow, and then it explodes later. So it's great for an introduction on this. And it's one of those kind of like At Night by Oliver, where I've just really wanted, and I really like it for how it transforms like that. And it's great to play in this game because of it. And with that in mind, I know for At Night by Oliver we use The Color Is Just Glowing, which is usually down here. There it is. But we're not using that. Instead, we are going to use Colorful Darkness, which I used in, I want to say, the first showcase for the Midnight song Vampires, if anyone remembers that. But yeah, it's going to start out, and it's basically going to be almost completely black, and then there's going to be a lot going on when the song actually picks up. But this is one that I've been really, really excited to play, and it's got to be the start. Got to be the start that we do. And Colorful Darkness, well, one of the credits is right there, Sasha CZ. At my check in the workshop also showed Codoodle. That's Kodewdle, Codoodle. Thanks so much. This is a really cool one. Another thing I discovered about this particular skin is that you can actually change the color pattern or the color spectrum that it uses by changing things in like the files for it. I haven't gone to that to that length this time, so we're using the regular color palette, which I do like quite a bit because it's blue when it's low, and then it transforms to like pink, purple, and then goes to red, which works well enough for most songs. But you can, by messing with the files, and if you find it on the workshop, they do give you a little thing there to tell you, or that guides you on how to do it, or just tells you what to put in. And you can give it the full color spectrum, or you can even have like pastels on both sides for crazy intensity or something, I imagine. But I didn't do that this time, but there's potential in coming back to this at a later time or trying that out or something for that. but I've just been practicing it the default way, so we're just going to have the blues, purples, and reds. And it's going to be a really nice explosive rock song, so I hope you guys enjoy. That no, not the Tom Sawyer. Not the Tom Sawyer, dude. No. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Smart did kind of have a THX opening. But yeah, it's a really cool song. I like it a lot. All right. So that one was from an album, but for this one, at least it's for at least? Doesn't that make it worse to some degree? I don't know. Alright, but if you like the furry Tom Sawyer, okay. Alright. Okay. So yeah, most of it's gonna be in order with the recent stuff, which makes it a little easier to find, because my regular music section is a little crazy now with all this new stuff and all the stuff that's already in there. But this is one that, so that album art is correct, first of all. This is one that I've had on iTunes. Animal People Make Any Story Better? Sure. But yeah, so this is one that, I have had on iTunes. This is by Nick Mystery, who, if you don't know them, the interesting thing about them, and I forgot to look this up, but they have the lead singer from Periphery, and if you don't know who Periphery is, they're like Linkin Park if they were slightly more metal or like gent rock, or like math rock, or just like experimental as a whole. They've got like 10-minute songs that are just, you know, that kind of thing. But Nick Mystery is like a side project of like he got with someone else, and it's more almost like 80s rock type thing. It's more of a it's pretty similar to the 1975, I would say, at least in this song. This is one I really like, but they have this whole EP. And this was a band that I just kind of stumbled upon on Spotify one day. I think it was just like literally a song that was recommended to me. They had a song here. Let me actually go. No. And yeah, you wanna? Let's look around here at the insanity. We've got a lot. But yeah, it's a little crazy in here now. Mostly just this art, and just imagine that Tom Sawyer art was just here on like 90% of this. And it was great. But let me go look up the song real quick, because I have the it's the When EP. That's really, really cool. I think they have more music now, but this is from a few years ago at this point. But I had heard, yeah, Movie Life Fantasy was recommended to me, and it sounded interesting. I gave it a try, and I really liked it. It is a slower song, so it's not really suitable for this game, which is why I've picked Now, which is the fastest paced song on the EP. And I do like it a lot. The verses are a little weird, but whenever it gets to that chorus, it's just like, yes. I like the chorus a whole lot. But now, okay, we're getting a nice trade-off here. So we had songs that we couldn't access before, on an old skin, and now this is a song that I could have put in at any point. I imagine I didn't because I just didn't find a good skin for it that matched. But we're going to put a new skin with this song. And this one, the name is a little questionable, but we're just going to go with it because it's cool. It's got a vibe. Yes, it's Simple Trans, because you don't want them to be complicated. But but it's pretty cool. It's got a space background. I think it varies, actually, so I may have to refresh a couple times if I don't like the background or something, but it's kind of like transparent floor, and then as you can see there's quite a bit going on the sides, and it's got the rings in it. It's very colorful, bounces quite a bit, and this song's fairly energetic, so I played it and I was like, okay, and that's all there is to say about that. But this skin is by Kettle and Dice, and that is not two people. There are collaborations, just like the first one we did, but that's one person, Kettle and Dice. But thanks, Kettle. I'm assuming and Dice is your last name. But this is a pretty cool one, pretty colorful, pretty energetic. There's a lot going on. But this is Now by Nick Mystery on the Simple Trans skin. Here we go. Are you guys ready to change your D&D alignments to chaotic stupid? We're on our way. Oh no, I'm still in there. I don't want to be in there. Continuing, going down it. So we've got... This one's fun. I could have sworn I should have a version that's not way ahead of you. Oh dear. Alright. Interesting, because it's not an official alignment, but alright. Alright. Now I did promise that we have other genres, and so we did 2 rock alternative songs to start with. Gotta break things up a little bit, so here's an electronic one. And a especially fun one, that I probably also could have done at any time, because I have it on a bunch of things. But, it is Friend Like Me, and yes, it is that Friend Like Me from Aladdin, remixed by Simgratina. That's Simgratina. I'm not into... he's done... I know they've done other Disney things, because I also have a remix of I Want to Be Like You that's pretty fun. But I do like this one a little bit more. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. Alright, and then for this one... It is that one, right? Yes. Oh, my eyes are feeling great. Wonderful. We are looking for Neon Wave. There it is. I just happened to stop on it. Okay. But this one's pretty nice. It's another one that's pretty flashy. A lot going on. What kind of drew me to using this song with it is, well, as you can see on the template there, it is blue a good amount of the time. It tends to stick around blue, I wouldn't say for most of the song, but enough times to make me go, oh yeah, okay. Alright. The blue for the genie is Friend Like Me, is the idea. Maybe there's a better combination out there for it, but we're gonna have a lot of fun. And this is made by Classified. I'd have to kill you if I said their name, but no, that is their Steam name. So thanks for this one, Neon. Almost called them Neon Wave, but thanks for the Neon Wave skin, Classified. This one's cool. Alright, and this is just a fun, silly one to pop off on, so let's get Chaotic Stupid. I need my DJ equipment, alright. Still got the same background stuff, but I upgraded my turntable thing because I couldn't find the last one that I got. I tried to replace it, and it wasn't a transparent PNG, so I couldn't use it. So now we got this fancy one. Alright, now that the rock alternative stuff has been broken up, let's go back into it for one more song. But this is... Oh, I'm on it. There it is. And once again, that is not the album artwork. How do I know that? That's easy. Because this is the album artwork! Okay. Also, I need to remove these. I could probably do drums for this one, but I do while I'm talking. I don't want to. But yeah, so this is an artist called Forever the Sickest Kids. I am not sure if they're still doing stuff. I had a very selective period of time where I was interested in them. But this is a cool artist because this is a band that I found all by myself. It was back in the days of projectplaylist.com, which I believe is just now called playlist.com, if it still exists. I haven't done anything with it in like 15 years, so I don't know. But back in high school, I used it quite a bit. And I forget exactly what I was searching for, but I stumbled across this band, and I believe the first song I found was She's a Lady, which is a good one. It eventually got on this album as well, Underdog Alma Mater, and the album version of is still good, but they did a video for the song, and just please God, if you want to give the song a try, do not do the music video, because they like radio edited the hell out of the song and butchered it. But if you just go find a regular version of She's a Lady, it's a good one. I recommend it. I'm not playing that one tonight because it was not on the phone that I ripped files from, unfortunately. I was going to say 2007, but the copyright on the back says 2008, and I can't argue with that. But they're one of those 2000s kind of punk-ish artists. And the weird thing about them is they just randomly decide at random parts in their songs to just not rhyme, and it's a consistent thing. It's something they do a lot, and so it's kind of compromising their talent, I guess, where it's just like, like other artists would rhyme here, but okay. It's oddly frequent and to the point of just being like an intentional choice from the artist, and I just don't know why. But it bothers me sometimes. But anyway, I had found this artist before this album came out, and then I was like, oh, they have an album coming out, cool. I tried the hit single on it, which is this one, Whoa Whoa, Me Versus Everyone, and I liked it a whole lot. The music video was he's like a stunt car driver or something, and he's trying to get with the girl who like works at the ambulance service, like if there's ever an accident or something, and then the drummer is just like running around like an idiot sometimes, and it's fun. I liked the song too, which is why we're playing it. And they're all furries on the front. Look at them. Look at the furries. But yes, this is just the this is just the first intro track on the album. I think we have, and this is the last intro track, so we'll be done with intro tracks after this. But it's a taste of a time period long ago. It was a simpler time. It was a Donald Trump is not a politician time. It was a we don't even need to rhyme in our songs time. But anyway. Anyway, for this one, I am bringing back a old, Neo Wave was new, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. But for this one, I'm bringing back another one I haven't used since the first showcase. And that is, nope, not that far down. Up and down, side to side, like a roller coaster. Alright. Okay. Oh, and people have played this one because it's that old, because people played Audiosurf back at this time. And the top score is held by Mario's Left Nut. That's something. Isn't that something? But, this was used by, or we used it on, I want to say the Skylar Spence song Carousel in the first showcase, and it hasn't been used since then, so we're bringing it back. It's a little janky, but it's also interesting. There's just something about a line from this song, why do I put myself in these situations? And it's just like, he's on a roller coaster that's like way higher off the earth than it should be. Something about that was fitting. But this is made by, the roller coaster scan is made by Bullet Fever 409, so thanks Bullet Fever. I think maybe, yes, we're going to have at least one more from you later. But yeah, we're going back into like punk, rock, alternative stuff for this one song, and then we're going to switch gears. Alright. Okay, so we've done some rock alternative-ish stuff. We got an electronic song in there. Let's do our first country song of the night. This one is special because, let me bring it up here. It should just be, yes, okay. So, this is a song by Old Dominion. We will have one other song from them later, but this album is significant because I believe it is the first country album I ever got. I believe it was their debut album, but Old Dominion is kind of known as they're pretty good lyricists. A lot of modern country is surprisingly clever with the lyrics and stuff and the stories it tells, or just how it spins things. Like a lot of times there will be a song that have, or like a song title that has a dual meaning and things like that. And Old Dominion is especially good in that regard because they've actually written a lot of songs for other country artists. Perhaps a Ryan Tedder of country, if you will. But they have a whole playlist on Spotify of other songs that they've written for other people, and there's a lot of big hits in there if you know your country. But this is from the album Meat and Candy, which has this on it. But yeah, it's a really good album. It had because I was there was a period in like 2010s I was really into country for a while, and this album, a lot of songs from this album were playing. So Break Up With Him was the first hit, and then Snap Back. And then the one that really did it for me, we're going to play at a later time, but this is actually a side track on the album, so it is not one of the hits. But it's one that I really like. It's just a really, really fun song. It's just so relaxed, and the vibes are just so nice. It's just so fun, and I hope you enjoy it. For this one, we are going to do... Alright, so for this one, we're bringing back another old one, if I can find it. I officially do just have too many skins in here. I know, it is a problem. It is a problem. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we're bringing back Mountain Highway. This skin was used, I want to say session 3, or showcase 3, where we did, or maybe it was 2, where we did New York City by Owl City. And I liked it for that, and this one's nice because it's beer can in a truck bed. Surprisingly, there aren't any skins that I've seen that have a truck for the vehicle. Otherwise, I would have used that probably. But this has like a slightly old-looking car. I think it's meant to be like an Initial D type skin, and just kind of works for other reasons. But I like the color of it, and just it's nice. And this is by Rogel Dorn. So thanks, Rogel. Yes, we're still trying to get affiliate, and also I did want to mention earlier that I forgot to mention this earlier, but yeah, this a lot of these songs like this one I'm able to get them because I had some other means, but there's a whole lot of other songs I sure would like to play at another time if I could get them off of all these CDs. And if you would like to help the cause, on my Throne account there should be a optical drive thing there. I think it's set up as like a Blu-ray player and stuff as well that you can contribute to, so I can get more of my songs, and we can do more of these showcases in the future. Otherwise, I'm not sure when that will be, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Alright, so follow my train of thought for a little bit here. So we had a song like, whoa, me versus everyone. Why do I put myself in these situations? And then it was beer can in a truck bed, so we're doing some drunk driving. And then what happens when you're doing drunk driving? You're crashing. You're crashing. So I mentioned this is one of the songs as to why I'm wearing my Andrew McMahon shirt. This was a big deal. Because back in high school I had gotten into Jack's Mannequin, their first album, a couple years after it released, and then I found out that this album, The Glass Passenger, was coming out. Holds up album for posterity. But yes, this is probably the most hyped I've ever been for an album. Was it worth it? I mean, there's definitely some good stuff on here, but I'm not sure if I like it overall as much as the album before or the album after it. But oh, remember when I said we were done with title tracks? Or like intro tracks? I actually lied. This is an intro track. I'm sorry. I fooled myself with that. To be honest. But this is the first track off of The Glass Passenger. And so the interesting thing about Andrew, or Jack's Mannequin, if you don't know, is that Andrew McMahon, the frontman, actually got leukemia back in 2005 when his first album was coming out. His first Jack's Mannequin album. And so while all the songs from the first album, Everything in Transit, were written before that whole experience, The Glass Passenger came a few years after and is more directly about that whole experience. And so that can kind of be a reason to not like the album as much, since it's a little more somber in that regard, or existential, or there are reasons to like it and reasons to hate it for that reason, perhaps. But this is the first track on the album, Crashin', and while I may like a couple other songs on the album a little bit more than this one has stuck with me because it's just really, really solid, and you're gonna hear that the instrumentals to this track are just so good. Like, every instrument has a chance to shine, and it has its own really great riffs or rolls or licks or breaks or what have you. It's just a really well written song, and the lyrics are good too. There's a lot of like really strong lines, like even if your voice comes back again, maybe there'll be no one listening. Even if you find the strength to stand, doesn't mean you won't go missing. It's dealing with it's almost dealing with I suck at completely interpreting song lyrics at times, but it's almost like dealing with, because it's after the fact. This album came out because he did recover from the leukemia, obviously, so this is after it was all over and done with, but it's songs about that experience. But it could just be like, well, I'm back, now what? I have all this other stuff to deal with. Or it's like, even if I come back from it, the fight won't be over, there's more to do. But it's a little interesting in that regard. And it's, yeah, I wouldn't say I would put it incredibly high in my list of favorite Jack's Mannequin songs. I mean, there's probably a top 5 or maybe even a top 10 above this, but it really sticks with me. The lyrics are good, and the instrumentals are just so good. If nothing else, like it actually took me a while to get into this song, because like when the album first came out, I was kind of like, whatever, toward the song, move on to the next one. But as the years have gone on, because this album's from like 2008, as the years have gone on, I've almost been liking it more and more, just because of the instrumentals above everything else, and just I think I'm always in a mood to listen to it, surprisingly. But I hope you really like the instrumentals. And then for this one, we're doing, it's normally toward the top here. There it is, yeah. So there's, in the workshop, there's actually a few of these focus themed ones. I think I have a focus plasma somewhere. I'm not going to worry about it too much, but there's a few different focus ones. This one's focus solar, and I just liked it because, I mean, it's got like fire effects and crashing, but oh no, aside from that, the skybox and like the highway itself are just kind of dark. There's some black on the album itself, and I don't know, I felt like the color palette was just appropriate, and I don't really have much more of an explanation than that. But this one is by Skipper Zip. Thanks, Skipper Zip. This is a pretty good one. Alright, so moving from one piano-driven artist to another, this next song is by Keen, who you may remember from Somewhere Only We Know fame, or Is It Any Wonder? I think those were the two big ones. They also did a song for that movie A Monster Calls, if anyone saw that, and then I don't think they've done songs for any other movies. A couple people have played this, that's cool. This is also an old album, but I also have this album, but I got into this artist, as many people did, with Somewhere Only We Know. Really, really, like, all-time goated track, honestly. And then I actually got that album in a later time, looked into the band a little more, really liked them. This was around college time, I think. At that time, or like by then, they had already released another album or two. One of those was, this would be their third album, Perfect Symmetry. You probably know this album for the song Spiraling, if you know Keen songs. You're really cool if you know the song The Lovers Are Losing. That was a track that I heard in college, and that convinced me to get this album at some point, because The Lovers Are Losing is really, really good. I honestly could have done... I did get that song from this album as well, and could have done that one. There's also another one called Black Burning Heart that's really good, and I may have to come back to it a later time, but for this particular session and showcase, we already had 26 songs, so it was like, that's enough. But for some weird reason, I wanted to do this one. It's a weirder song than those other ones, but I kind of like it, and it's kind of stuck with me because of that. It's kind of going to work as a transition into other stuff with that as well. Also, this album art looks really cool, but the disc itself has like even poppier colors on it. It looks really cool. It's a nice one. But yeah, they seem to try and do more with their sound in this album and try to like modernize things a little bit. And this album is from 2008, so I was right. That seems to be a popular year tonight. We've already had like 3 2008 albums. But yeah, this is a really cool album. It's got some even weirder stuff in it, surprisingly, that didn't really hit for me so much, but the hits are pretty good. There's also the self-titled track, Perfect Symmetry, that was also a hit on the album. I just don't like it as much as the other two. But it's not bad. And the end track, Love is the End, is also really, really good. It's just not suited for this game at all. But there are at least like 2 other songs that I did get that I could put in a playlist for next time from this album. So we will probably be coming back to this. But this one's weird. It's a little bit weird, but in an interesting, memorable way. And then for this one, you did just see the album art, so with that in mind, yes, the placement of this one's fairly consistent. We're going to do Resistance, Fallen Man. But it kind of gets the vibe of the album art, kind of portrays that with everything going on the sides, and the orange being the prominent color kind of works with the album art as well. And something just like the message of the song, and just kind of like running and not really getting anywhere with the skin, kind of works on that level too. And I forgot with the train of thought that we were still following, because we were doing the bad situations, beer can in a truck bed, was drunk driving, then we're crashing. It's like, you're crashing vehicles, can't you do better than this? You can do so much better than this. And so we're sticking with that for one more time. But I thought Resistance was a default skin that the game had, but it is not. It is made by Dylan. Thanks, Dylan. All right. All right, so let's keep it going with Better Than This by Keen. Here we go. Alright, the train of thought's kind of broken, but hopefully you like this musical transition, because I feel it's semi-appropriate. But I do actually have... So I actually have... Oh, one person has played this, cool. So I actually have the Super Smash Bros. 3DS and Wii U soundtrack. Back when Club Nintendo was a thing. They ain't a thing no more. But I did manage to get that. Although I feel a lot of the music was maybe introduced more in older iterations, like Melee and Brawl, especially. Nice, yes. All Nintendo fans in here. But yeah, one that I was especially excited to get the soundtrack for was this version of Sticker Brush Symphony, which I absolutely love. It's like top tier video game music to me, and I'm not really familiar with the Donkey Kong Country games, and like I've gone back and listened to like what it originally sounded like, and I just honestly like this version so much better. It was also a big deal because, at least as far as I'm aware, it debuted in Brawl in the Subspace Emissary mode, which I still want to get back to at some point. Do like a whole other playthrough of that, because it's been almost 20 years at this point since I've done it, I feel. It's fast approaching, dear God. But I'm pretty sure it was the level where like Fox meets Diddy Kong, I think. And so it was that, like, I didn't know what it was from, so I like only knew it as the swamp or something, because that was the level it was on. And it was just like, oh, the music's so good. But yeah. So I think this is the only track that I got from that soundtrack or that album set, and that was on my phone, but I'm glad it was on there. And then for this one, we are bringing back Tropicana, which is the jungly one on a bike, one that was used for Grow Fonder by Pogo in the first showcase. So we're bringing that back. Obviously the jungle vibes, like just look at it. DK. But it's kind of the closest I could get. I considered using the Staccato Classic, which is like the sheet music, but it wasn't like doing enough during the song. This is by... Okay, you're gonna hear their name a lot tonight, as you always do, but Simon Evo, the great messiah of Audiosurf 2. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. They've made so many of the coolest looking skins this game has to offer, so we owe a lot to them. And their stuff gets used a whole lot by me, and I'm sure other people. So thanks, Simon. And then we're using that to transition into one of the older songs that we're going to be playing tonight, which is by Jimmy Buffett. And a bit of a backstory, but with the relationship between me and Jimmy Buffett. It started with my mom. She was a really big Jimmy Buffett fan. And as a kid, I would get annoyed hearing it. It would just be like, oh no, mom's cleaning and put on Jimmy Buffett again, oh dear. But then I just, one day, just out of the blue, and I want to say it was in high school, just one day out of the blue, when she put it on, it just clicked. Or just like, oh yeah, I remember this one's good, I remember that one's good. And just like was suddenly just into it. It wore me down eventually. Or something like that. But no, just got a lot of music taste from her, because I like Jimmy Buffett and Moody Blues are the big ones, and I'm pretty sure there's one other one that I'm forgetting. But yeah, those were the big two. And this one is from, so it's so that album art is correct, in case you can't tell, it does have Buffett up there. But it's from his like massive greatest hits thing, and that came out in like the 90s. So the crazy thing is there's even more music after that. But it was like a 4-disc greatest hits collection stuff. And then this song that we're going to play, I know like pop culture, I know only a select few songs have kind of stuck around. Like everyone knows Margaritaville, I imagine. Maybe people know like Cheeseburger in Paradise or Son of a Sailor. But I feel like this is an especially obscure one. I'm not even sure it was even that much of a hit, and I think it was just maybe the newest thing he put out at the time, so it was just like thrown onto the album for posterity, or maybe it was a new song for the album, kind of ish. But this song is from 1987, so it's kind of, if you can imagine like the Jimmy Buffett sound and trying to do like an 80s type sound within that. But it's one that I've always really liked, and it kind of gets the imagination going. The song is called Take It Back, and there's a lot of stuff. So there's kind of what the lyrics convey, and then there's what I've looked up in terms of recent research and found out what the song is actually about. But the song itself and like why I've liked it is it's kind of like the perspective of like a pirate crew just got some kind of treasure stolen and they're fighting to, as the song title suggests, take it back. Not really having the context for what it was actually about. As a kid, it really got the imagination flowing, and it's almost, to me, it was almost akin to like it could be a theme to like a cartoon show at the time or something. Like specifically, I could see it associated to like Tailspin or something like that. It gives that kind of vibe to me. What I found out the song is actually about, it is about yacht races, and which is boat, so just make it pirates. But apparently around the time, or like shortly before, a few years before this song came out, there was in this yacht race competition, the U.S. was champion for like 100-something years, and that streak was broken by an Australian team. And so it's more of like a fight song for a sport, and it's just like, but that it gives context to why he mentions like taking a treasure back from Captain Kangaroo, because an Australian team took their title. But it's so it's almost like a fight song, like cheering on this yacht team, like we're gonna take the championship back from the Australians. But you can picture it as a Tailspin alternate theme song, like me, if you want to. But it's got a very nice vibe to it. It's kind of got like 80s type sound with some instrumentals, but then it's got like the Jimmy Buffett typical steel drums with it, and it's a very tropical, like lends itself to like the pirate vibe and the motif that it talks about. And to that end, so I struggled with this one for a while to find a highway that really worked. I have a lot of ones that are like in the sky, like Horizon, Soaring, and like Midday and stuff like that. So I got a lot of stuff for like high above the water. And then I've got a few like Reef that are under the water, but I don't have I couldn't really find anything good that was just on water. Out of the options that I had, nothing was really working for me. So I've got this underwater skin, is what I went with. It's got some like real life picture portrait backgrounds of underwater fish and stuff. It can vary a little bit. I think it's got 7 backgrounds to it. I might restart or something. I think I've seen like 4 or 5 of the skins, and so there might be a couple I haven't seen. We'll see how much I like it, or if I have to restart. But I think I would think, given a lot of Jimmy Buffett songs do kind of get the imagination going, but he's also grounded in reality a little bit. And given like the real life context of this, I think if he were alive today and happened to see it, I think Jimmy Buffett would appreciate the realistic side of this particular skin, but I don't know. This is by their name is a bunch of Celtic runes, and I didn't know how to read that. But yeah, there's actually 2 underwater skins on the workshop. You want to find the one with all the Celtic runes for the creator, and the thumbnail will look like that instead of looking like the Reef one before. And the Reef one is fun. It's got like a bubble sound effect whenever you hit the notes, and that's kind of it's a little distracting but fun. I didn't pick it because some error message stuff appears on the top of it, and I think it's because I have 2 similar skins that are overlapping stuff or assets in some way. And maybe I could get rid of one and it could work at a later time. But I went with this underwater skin, no hassle. Another thing I was going to mention, because like something I would have really liked, but surprisingly, because I mentioned before there isn't a highway that uses like trucks as the vehicle or anything. There's nothing that uses like I mean, there's some things that are kind of boat-like, but nothing uses like a pirate ship. Like there are a couple of anime-themed ones, but no one has like a One Piece one where you're like the Going Merry, moving along. Like that would have been perfect If I had found that, I would have done that. But I looked for it. I specifically typed in keywords that would make that come up, and just nothing came up. So we should really get on that. Someone should get on that. Because that would have really worked. But we've got Underwater. It's close enough. And this is Take It Back by Jimmy Buffett, one of my personal favorites. I hope you enjoy it. Perhaps irresponsibly, the two songs that we're playing from the 80s tonight are right next to each other. It was nice. All right, awesome. I know I have high expectations set, because last time I'd like to think we reached the pinnacle of vibes. The pinnacle of immaculate vibes with a couple songs. At least as far as Smar is concerned. So I know we've got a lot to live up to there, but I hope we're getting there. I hope some things are hitting. But there's perhaps some more ambitious and better suited stuff to come. But Chris will like this one, because he's the reason I have this CD. But this next one is, because I mentioned some movie music, so this next one is from the movie Animalympics. If you're not familiar with it, it is an animated movie from 1980, and I'm like 99% sure that's correct. And it is basically a parody of the Olympics. It's got some SNL stars, like Billy Crystal is in there doing some voices, as well as, I forget her name, but she would make fun of Barbara Walters on SNL, and she kind of still does that in this movie. So if you're into that, but it's fairly simple in animation a lot of the time, but it does have some really endearing characters that I'm a big fan of and have stood the test of time for me. It's got a few imaginative sequences in it, and perhaps most importantly of all, it's got really, really good music, which is done by Graham Goldman, as you can see there. He is one of the members of the band 10cc. If you don't know them by name, if you've watched the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, there's that song that young Peter's listening to, like, in the hospital waiting room at the very, very start of the movie. It doesn't play very long, but if you have the soundtrack and have listened to that song and recognize it from that scene, that's 10cc. But if you had the soundtrack, you would see that as well. That's how I found that out. But I don't know what else they've done. I should probably look into it, because the soundtrack of this movie honestly has a bunch of bangers, and it's like, normally, like, movie soundtracks are like pretty poppy, and the instrumentation isn't all like it's fairly simple stuff, but this is so elaborate. There's so many crazy, like, riffs and solos and breaks in the stuff, and it goes so much harder than it should, but it's like, go for it. Yeah, go for it. It's really good. Away From It All is a slower one that I really like, but there's just so much good stuff on here. I'm very, very glad I have the soundtrack. Another reason I'm really glad I have the soundtrack, as I hold it up, but it's in this particular iteration of it, it looks like a little record. Look at it. It's so cute. Maybe take it out of the thing to remove the glare a little bit. But it's a CD record. It's so cool. It's got like the grooves on top and stuff. They put so much effort into that. But yeah, this is maybe not the most legit way to get the movie. It's from like Unobtainium is the company that did it. But it was a dual pack where it was a DVD of the movie and it came with this disc of the soundtrack, which is really, really cool, and I'm super, super thankful to have it. This particular song is, yeah, I think the last song that plays in the movie. If I may spoil a 40-plus-year-old movie. But there are some couple characters in the movie that are positioned to be opposing forces as a recurring thing over like the course of the whole movie, and then at some point they choose to not be opposing forces anymore, and then this is the song that kind of celebrates that. And it is cut off a little bit right there, but it's With You I Can Run Forever. And I literally can't find a more appropriate skin for this than A Song That Never Ends, where there's a person running and there's an infinity symbol, run forever. You see, I can't do better. Like, what do you want from me? But this was used fairly recently, a couple sessions ago, I think. This was used on Give Me a Try by the Wombats, and I felt it fit there. But this is another one that's by Simon Evo, because it's cool, therefore Simon Evo made it. But no, we use plenty that aren't Simon Evo, but just like there's at least like 5 in every one's made by Simon Evo, I swear. But yeah, even though this is movie soundtrack, it's like straight up 70s into 80s rock. It's like right at the cusp. It's like if something is literally from the year 1980, is it a 70s thing or an 80s thing? Because like it's before 80s stuff was even like 80s stuff. You didn't even know. They don't. It's the start of the 80s. We don't know what 80s stuff is, but it's like it's very traditional, and just like the instrumentation, the talent, and everything is there. It's such a bop. It's a great song, and if you're familiar with it, hope you jam along and you like the skin combination. If you're hearing it for the first time, I hope you enjoy it, and I also hope you like the skin combination with it. Alright, well, we're done with the 80s, unfortunately. Back to the Jack's Mannequin. The second of 3 Andrew songs tonight, but the last of the Jack's Mannequin songs. Probably could have put a few more spaces in between, but there was like 4 or 5 songs in between, so good enough. This one is from the album after The Glass Passenger, which is... I keep having to switch over so I can see that I make sure that I have stuff aligned correctly, but this is from the People and Things album, which came out while I was in college, and I honestly like quite a bit. There are a lot of songs in here that hit pretty well. I do still think the first album, Everything in Transit, is probably the pinnacle of Jack's Mannequin to me, but there are a lot of songs on here that are really good. I kind of wish I had some other ones. I don't think we're at the other ones yet where I wanted to mention that. But there's some really good ones in here, like Release Me, Television. Even People Running is good. I could make People Running work if I could get that one. Amelia Jean is incredibly good. and Hostage. Oh, Hostage is great. A lot of good stuff in here. And the album's orange. Look at that. Yeah, just interesting color choices as well, and the whole like Venn diagram thing. I had a shirt that had this design on it for a while too, because I liked it that much. And I wore it to this concert when I saw him live. And honestly, like I was worried because he was like at that point he was like 3 or 4 albums into Andrew McMahon in the Wilderness, so I'm like, oh, it's only going to be Wilderness stuff. He's not going to do any Jack's Mannequin or something corporate stuff. But it turned out to be probably the best tour I could have gone to, or the best time to see him, because he was promoting his book. He's got like a memoir called 3 Pianos. And because of that, like the memoir goes through a lot of different points in his life, and so because of that, he was playing a bunch of songs that he references in the book, and therefore there's a lot of older stuff in there. So I heard him do a lot of stuff I never thought I would hear him do. But like since then, he's even doing crazy stuff. Like there's a like 9-minute something corporate song called Constantine, where it was literally an Andrew thing, where he would just straight up refuse to play it all the time because it's too long, and he's not a part of that project anymore and just didn't want to do it. It was like his thing live, and now he's just playing it. So I don't know what to expect anymore, but it was quite an experience. This one, this particular track, well, once again, I don't even know if it's my favorite on the album. And there's a few Jack's Mannequin songs that I like more than it. It's kind of like not as edgy is not the right term, but have like, it doesn't have like the emotional depth of some other Jack's Mannequin songs I would put higher than it, I would say. But it has a really good rhythm to it. The lyrics are fairly still good. It's a song that I really like to sing a lot, and it is a song that it's probably my favorite song to play on the drums, because it's got an unusual time signature and rhythm and stuff in the verses, and so it's really, really fun to play on drums. And so I like it for that reason. But it's not one of the most... You're kind of getting like generic Jack's Mannequin experience with this song, I feel like there are others that like tackle like his motif and his vibe a little bit better, but this is just kind of like basic Jack's Mannequin for dummies is this sound, kind of. Did actually struggle for a while trying to find a skin for this. What I ended up with, I actually went back. These are usually together, so shouldn't be that hard to find. Yes, so there are quite a few of these retro wave skins. I think we've used bass retro wave before. I want to say for Neon Medusa, by the Midnight, and we'll come back to it tonight actually. And we used the Halloween one for Saberwolf's theme from Killer Instinct 2013 in the first showcase. I had seen in the workshop they had this retro wave New Year skin, and I'm like, I don't know if there's a point to that one. But I did eventually download it and give it a try, and it works surprisingly well for this song. The themes he's cold in the song quite often. There isn't really a better way to put it. You'll see what I mean. But it's kind of a Crims theme, and then like this can vary a little bit. You can either get like varying levels of blue. One is like pink and blue, and then there's one that's just Crimis colors. So I may restart this one to get the right thing I want, depending on what we get to start with. But it does work. It does work. And another thing is, like, aside from the colors, like normally they'll put trees on the side, which I want, but every now and then they'll put reindeer on the side, and I don't want the reindeer. Also, I did want to mention, this is an album, this was one of those kinds of albums where they kind of did a, not exactly a music video, but they had like a visualizer type video for every single song on the album. And if you're interested or of a certain persuasion, the Amelia Jean one. So Amelia Jean is a great song either way, so I do recommend it because of that. But I did specifically want to mention that Amelia Jean has a furry inclined video. It's like official visualizer or something. It should be labeled as online. And it's pretty nice, pretty thought provoking, and yeah, that was actually one that I got to hear live. He said like someone from something corporate was probably in the audience, and he said that they really like the song Amelia Jean, and so that's why he played it, but it kind of blew me away. But that was a big one. It was just so many. I have them somewhere. I want to say he did the one that we're going to do later as well, which was a huge one to me, and we're going to get to that in due time. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that. But this one is kind of a bop. It's a song that I really love playing, but I would say you can get better, deeper Jack's Mannequin songs out there, but this one is a very solid one as well. But yeah, I'll give you 3 guesses who does the retrowave skins. And it is in fact Simon Evo again. So thanks, Simon. I was iffy on this one. I do like the other retrowave ones, but I was iffy on this one, but it persuaded me. So even this one's pretty good. Alright, this one's pretty special too. Alright. So, and that is correct album artwork, once again. So, if there was ever a song like specifically catered to me aesthetically, this is probably the closest you can get. So some things to know about me. I was a marching band kid, specifically a drumline kid in high school and a little bit in college. Ended up playing every different kind of drum in the drum line at a given time, or at various points. And I also like the alternative music. So this is an alternative artist named Trapdoor Social. I want to say sometime in the early 2010s. It must have been before 2015 because I was still in college at the time this came out. But they announced or had this video. I think it was like a big thing locally, and I'll get into that why in a second. But I heard about this song one way or another, and it's just so incredibly good. The thing with it, you'll notice, oh yeah, it's down at the bottom, if I didn't block it completely. No, that should be pretty good. So you'll notice it's featuring the Pride of Mesa Ridge. So that is a high school marching band that is very, very close to me. Like, it was the closest high school to the house I was in before this. The weird thing about that is I forgot to look this up, but I think Trapdoor Social is from like California. So why did they team up with a Colorado marching band? I don't know. But basically this is an alternative song, a track from an alternative artist They still play their instruments and stuff, but there's also a high school marching band in the background doing the music, like playing along with them. It's so interesting and so unique, and it just goes so fucking hard, and you're going to find out really quick. Um, the only thing that could have made this cooler is A, if it could have happened a few years earlier, and B, if it could have been at the high school that I actually went to. Because while I lived close to Mesa Ridge, I didn't go there personally. My brother ended up going there, but he was not a marching band kid, so he wouldn't have been involved anyway. But it's an insanely cool thing. I got super, super obsessed with this song. I think it was available on Spotify at the time of release, but like there was a period where you could only own it if you donated to some fundraiser to like help fund local like high school marching band stuff. And so I did pitch into that at the time so I could get a download of the song, but it kind of played hard to get a little bit because of that, and it almost made me want the song more and more. But I got crazy obsessed with this song, listening to it like several times a day. I recently got back into it when I finally took the plunge and joined SoundCloud. That's how I got a couple things in the past two showcases, I think. And because I found it again there and just started listening to it again, and now I'm just into it a ridiculous amount again, because it's like specifically catered to me. It's an insanely cool song. I've tried to look into other Trapdoor Social stuff, but the one song that I found didn't really do anything for me. It's nowhere close to this one, that's for sure. But this song is like insanely good, and I am crazy about it. Just please know that I'm like obsessed with it. And then for this one, I had a hard time finding one for this too, because it doesn't because of like the somber message of the lyrics. I mean, as far as I can tell, and like the nature of the song, you don't want it to be like incredibly colorful. So I did have a bit of a hard time finding stuff, but I eventually happened upon one I recently downloaded called Blue Steel. And look at this fucking description. 10 out of 10 scientists, but it's cyan like the color, CYAN. Scientists agree Blue Steel is great. But yeah, it's very somber. The colors don't change very much, if at all. But I feel like it fits the alternative, almost like grungy vibe of this. And then this is by Thick Frames, and that's thick with 2 C's. Yes, you like the scientist joke? But yes, this is by Thick Frames. Thanks, Thick Frames. This is a cool one. Hits the alternative vibe here, but this is just I hope the hope is, I mean, the hope is always to, because these songs are almost all earworms to me, or they were at some point, so the hope is to make them earworms for someone else too, so it can spread like coronavirus. But I feel like this is one of the more obscure things I can pick as well, because I think it was only a big deal around here because it was a high school marching band from around here, and I think the fundraiser was based around here too. But again, I think the band's from California. I don't know why they picked here. I don't know the full story behind it. I meant to look into it a little further and I forgot. Sorry. But this is going to be Fine on My Own by Trapdoor Social, featuring the Pride of Mesa Ridge. Happy Pride Month. I don't think it's that kind of pride. I think their mascot is like grizzly bears. So I don't know, like if they were lions, then okay, pride, but it's not that. All right. Wow, we're almost like halfway through, guys. Hooray. Only got 2 hours left. Not a problem. All right. So that was the 2010s. Let's go back a little bit more. I want to say 2007, 2008. But I could be wrong. Jason Derulo. I do have one EP from Jason Derulo. It is this EP, the Tattoos EP. This is where The Other Side came from. This is where Marry Me came from. So like his biggest hits, I would say. We'll get to at least one of those in a little bit, but I wanted to start with this one, which is more of a side track on the EP. That's I don't think it went anywhere. It's not like a hit or anything, but I've always liked it. And it might just be because I was a theater adult, but it almost seems like the kind of song that could be in like a Broadway musical or something. It's almost pilled that way, and hopefully you'll get my meaning when the song plays. But it's a side song. I mean, it's honestly a pretty good EP. Despite those 2 hits, this song is good. And then there's another song that isn't suited for this game, but it's a duet with Jordan Sparks called Vertigo that is insanely good. It's practically an a cappella song almost. There's just a little bit of piano in there. But it's a really, really good song. So it's overall a fantastic EP. It is the one piece of Jason Derulo music that I have. Although I do like trumpets as well. Trumpets is fun. But I wanted to show this one first, and then we'll get into a more popular one that everyone can vibe with. For this one, I struggled with this one too. I really wanted to find like something new or interesting that worked with the whole like tattoo motif, but I didn't. The closest I really came was maybe doing one of the album art ones, and then it would just be the album art with his tattooed neck there, but I don't know, that didn't do enough for me. For some reason, I really liked... Stargazers with it, which, if you remember, I used this back for I'm Back to Rise by Mick Gordon in the first showcase. And it's just a nice one. It's got interesting colors to start with, and then it's fairly colorful on the highway itself. But this is also by Simon Evo. So yeah. Alright, but yeah, this is going to be Tattoo by Jason Derulo. Get some hip-hop stuff in there. Hip-hop, beat-bop, dance till you drop. Alright, we are officially halfway through now. Alright. So now let's get the other Jason Derulo out of the way. We gotta do The Other Side. It's like the most popular one, but you have to understand it's like made for this game. Made for games like this. It is going to pop off and go hard. And this was like the first... Well, this was the song that got me into Jason Derulo. And then I heard Marry Me after that, and then I was like, oh, I should probably get this. I saw this EP came out, and I got it, and I liked the EP, so... But like vocally and stuff, it was a very interesting, pivotal song at the time. I would say it reached out to me and grabbed me. And then for this one, I shopped around with this song for different. What am I trying to say? I tried a lot of different skins for this one as well, but I ended up going back to Rust, which we used. Was that 2? 3? We 2 or 3 ago, we used on the Royal Flush song by Silverhound, which was the song they did about Husk from Has Been Hotel. And it just, I don't know, something. This skin has affected me in a way where, like, I look at a lot of the other skins and I go, like, this is great, but there isn't enough, like, movement, there isn't enough reaction to the stuff that's happening in the song to justify using this. And so, like, in situations like that, I keep coming back to Rust because it just reacts in all the ways that you want it to. It's very intense. I only slightly wish there was an alternate version of it that had, like, a more full color palette, but for what it is, it's a really fantastic skin, and it's become one of my favorites just because of how interactive it is, I guess, for lack of a better term, but it just responds well to each song you play it on, like, when you want it to. For that reason, we are going to use it on 2 different songs tonight because that's how it worked. That's just how it ended up because it's that good of a skin. But Rust is made by Kyanite. So thanks, Kyanite. This is a really, really cool skin. I like it a lot. Alright. Now let's everyone join hands and pop off to The Other Side by Jason Derulo. Okay, no, we didn't start. Okay, I've got another train of thought to follow here, so stick with me here. So, oh, you want to go to the other side? Well, we can leave right now. All right. So I mentioned that we do have some country artists that are trying to do electronic stuff, and this is the first example of that, probably the biggest example of that. But Thomas Rhett had an enormous album in the 2010s called Life Changes, which was just, if you were listening to country radio, it was just a monster album. I have it right here. But this had, let's see, I want to say Craving You featuring Maren Morris was a hit. I want to say Unforgettable was a hit. 16 definitely was. Marry Me definitely was. And Life Changes was. So yeah, like some huge hits. Yeah, maybe it was those. Okay, so like at least 4 hits on it, and Leave Right Now was one of them. I do remember hearing it. It was like, I'm pretty sure it was like an interview with the artist. on the radio as well that kind of like prefaced it, and he said he like specifically was trying to go for more of like an electronic sound and everything like that, and it does basically accomplish that. It's a little simple for either genre, but for whatever reason it's one of those songs that I just permanently find in my head. I'm like constantly doing the drop part to myself and everything. So it's that's the hand I'm dealt. But yeah, this was a really good album. I found a lot of really cool side tracks on it as well. It's got like Kiss Me Like a Stranger and Sweetheart, where he goes for more of like a 60s type sound as well. A lot of interesting stuff on here that I wasn't expecting. And just, yeah, it's really good stuff. For whatever reason, this song really sticks with me as an electronic fan and a country fan. You would think there would be like better examples in both fields in this, and I mean there are, but this one sticks with me for being sort of that in the middle. I don't know. I don't know, maybe it'll stick with you too. That's the hope. But for this, we are not changing anything. We're doing Rust by Kyanite again. I don't know why I even have this open. I should have known I was doing that. But yeah, I tried a bunch of stuff with this one, but kind of the same thing. It's fine, but it doesn't react, it doesn't move quite as much as Rust does when things happen and you want them to. So this is why we're here. I'm not sure... Excuse me, sorry. I don't know about the rainbow GIF. I will put the DJ mixer on. I'll do the DJ mixer. We'll just do that. Alright, so here we go. This is Leave Right Now by Thomas Rhett. Some electronic from a country artist. Here we go. Alright, so continuing the train of thought, we did The Other Side. You want to go to The Other Side? We could leave right now. Or what are we taking? Some kind of chariot? And alright, and so we got the oldest songs out of the way earlier with Take It Back and With You I Could Run Forever. This is the newest song in the playlist. This is a brand spanking new Midnight song. And the Midnight has the honor of being an artist, or perhaps probably the only artist that I've seen more than once. I saw them back in 2022 when they were headlining their own tour because they had a new album at the time. And then, kind of interestingly, the same venue both times, Mission Ballroom in Denver. Pretty nice place. It's not too big and it's not too small, but it's a pretty decent venue. But yeah, this time when I saw them in October 2024. They were an opener. There were 3 bands there. They were the second one, but it was mainly a tour for someone else. It was a Chromeo tour, which I was a little less interested in, but still had fun with. Still found some things to like there. Yeah, the Midnight was just like the middle act, and they were still fun. They kind of streamlined their stuff because they're an opener and have a certain amount of time to do stuff, so they couldn't take their time and get everything out. But they did play this as a part of it, and I was like, oh shit, I didn't know they had any new stuff. And it's an interesting song. And this won't be the first time I say this tonight, but I'm not sure I approve of the subject matter that the lyrics are conveying. At least what I picked up on is basically, hey, I can see that someone broke your heart. I could break your heart too if you want me to. And just like, is that? I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but there are parts of it that definitely hit pretty well for me. So it's a fun one. So I figured I would grab it and we would try it out. I'm not sure if they have released another song after this. I meant to check that as well, like last night, but didn't. But I thought it would be fun to do this one for some brand spanking new content. And the Midnight as a whole, just I don't think they care as much about their copyright and DMCA and stuff. I think they just let people use their music, which is good. I don't recall ever having issues with their stuff, so we could do like a whole Midnight showcase if we wanted to, and probably wouldn't be any issues, and that would be cool. But for this one, yes, I found a cool one for this one. So you may remember, oh yes, okay. So if you've been around a while with the other showcases, you might remember Rainbow Drive. I used that for Face My Fears, the Utada Hikaru and Skrillex song for Kingdom Hearts 3. In the very first showcase, it was like the second song I ever did in these showcases. And I used Rainbow Drive on there. The thing with Rainbow Drive, as you can see, it has a few different predetermined color palettes that will alternate between. What I ended up finding after that, more recently, is there's Album Drive, which is basically the same thing, except it uses the song's album art. And just look at that album art over there. There's a few different colors you can use, and that's pretty interesting. So I thought it would be good to try, and it turns out it works out pretty well. There's even a part where it goes like all grayscale and almost looks grainy, like it's from an old VHS tape, and I was like, yes, we need that. Oh, and someone else has played this. Do you know what this means? Someone else is playing Audiosurf 2 in 2024, maybe even 2025. Nicole, I would like to be your friend. We have the Midnight and Audiosurf 2 in common. That's a lot to go on already. But you're very cool. Keep doing what you're doing. Live your truth. But yeah, I think Album Drive works pretty well here with the colorful album art that you can shoot, that they have at its disposal. And this is by two users, Kite, which is spelled K-A-I-G-H-T, and Corrupted Audio is the second one. So thanks, you two. This is a cool one. Cool idea. I'm discovering that I really like ones that are, because a lot of the different skins that I'm getting or choosing to use here actually vary quite a bit. They have a lot of like random stuff that just alternates. But I like ones, and I mean, I get that variation from a certain standpoint. I understand I'm playing the game a very specific way with my thing, and that might not be the way that everyone else plays. But I'm really liking the ones that are variable, but I can control the variableness of them. Such as these ones that use album art, so I can just go, oh, okay, I can use this song that's got cool album art and colors, should work here, and I can control it that way. I like those. Whereas the ones that are just a bunch of random shit, I don't know. It's a bit of a flight risk, but I don't know, if you play the game with just one skin and a bunch of different songs, then I imagine that works well for you. But I am trying to do something very specific that does not work for. But here we go. We're gonna do brand new song Chariot by the Midnight on the Album Drive skin. But it's cool that they're doing stuff. I did also want to mention, if anyone knows more about this, because I tried to look it up and didn't really find anything. But when I saw them a few months ago, they had a different drummer. And the drummer is like one of the two main people in the band, and I'm concerned about their drummer, if they're no longer part of the group, or if they had some health condition or some other plans or something where they couldn't do the tour this time. I hope everything's okay with them. I hope they're all right. They make pretty cool stuff. They're good people. So you hope there isn't any bad blood or anything forming, and they're okay. Playlist is so long it took 2 pages of a Word document, so I had to split it up. Switch to the next part. Okay. Alright, so fitting similar questionable vibes, we have... Yep, here it is right here. We have another country artist that's kind of trying to do electronic-y stuff, but perhaps not as blatant as Leave Right Now just was. So this is Single for the Summer by Sam Hunt off of his Montevideo album. I should remove that, by the way. Okay. So yes, this is Single for the Summer by Sam Hunt off of his Montevideo album. Just very simple layout. But yeah, this is back from that time, around 2015, 2016-ish. I was listening to country music stations a lot, and there was a lot of stuff I ended up liking. And this fell into that. This has hits like, well, I think Take Your Time was a hit, but I didn't really like it that much. Leave the Night On is good. House Party is a good hit. Break Up in a Small Town, perhaps the biggest one. And then Make You Miss Me was really good. And Make You Miss Me is actually written by Old Dominion, because it's on that playlist that I mentioned before, for that connection there. But there's also the song Cop Car, which I believe is a cover of a Keith Urban song, or maybe Keith Urban covered it too, and I don't know. But we're not doing that one, because that also has questionable subject matter. But this one's Single for the Summer, so I'm gonna preface this, and there's like no other way I can explain it. So again, it's got questionable lyrics. I'm not really sure I approve of what they're saying. It's kind of like summer break, and he's like in a different city or town, cheating on his wife potentially. But it's more, perhaps a little more specific than that. Do you remember that cutaway in Family Guy where like Brian is dressed up like a redneck and he's like leaning against a building and he's like, "That's the thing I like about high school girls. I keep growing old, they stay the same age. Yes they do, yes they do." That is this song. I don't know how better to describe it, but that is this song. That is the vibe I get. It's very creepy and concerning, but it's in here because the song is catchy as fuck. Just please understand. So I'm going to be vibing with it and singing along with it. I probably shouldn't, but it's catchy as fuck, and that's why it stuck with me this whole time. I got it off of that phone, and I'm like, well, I guess I gotta play it. This was another one that I was heavily considering doing on the Rust skin, because a lot of other things weren't hitting properly. But what I ended up with, Cutaway, was a Matthew McConaughey reference. Yeah, that sounds right. It does seem to be in line with that, but it's you're like, if you pay attention to the lyrics, you're gonna be like, oh god, he's right. But it's the best way that I know to describe the song. It's a little bit creepy, but it's a really catchy song. But anyway, the skin we're playing it on is Hotline, which semi-appropriate? I don't know. It's probably meant to do a little more like 80s Miami Vice type thing. It's got like Pinks and Blues, City Skyline, stuff like that. So that there's probably more appropriate songs to do it with, but like something about it worked with this. It's also like, it's got some light behind the buildings, but it's also just kind of dark overall, and maybe that fits the theme. But but this is by a little bit fitting, Allegory Violation 8193. Fascinating. That's who made this, but thanks. This is a cool one. Alright, but we're doing Single for the Summer by Sam Hunt. And just embrace the creepiness, or just like listen to the beat more than the lyrics, but to see what I mean with like the Brian association, listen to the lyrics. Alright. Alright, well, we're in a different train of thought now. That song started. So we're Single for the Summer. So it's like summer, it's daytime. But now the sun is setting, and we're gonna ride into the sunset. This is another one I could have done at any time. I'm pretty sure I've tried this one multiple times and just didn't find a skin that I liked enough for it. But I got it in this time, gosh darn it. Because this is a electronic track by Mako. I don't think it's one of their popular ones, like, at all, but it's really stuck with me. I just really, it's another one of those that's like always in my head. Really, really good. Really nice bop. Really nice vibe. The lyrics are like what you would expect from a title like Into the Sunset. It's all about like being like quote unquote criminals trying to like get away, and it's nice though. It puts a nice spin on it, so it's maybe almost like antithesis of the song we just listened to, where it's just like creepy hitting on underage girls, and then this one like treating like being criminals or robbers like it's a relationship or something like that. At least that's the impression that I get. Yeah. No, I'm going to get rid of that. I will put the DJ mixer back, though. We'll do the DJ mixer. I just don't like the idea for this track is not a lot of color. And to that, I did mention we were going to do retro wave at some point. I didn't really expect to use it for this song, but some weird things just worked out with it, and this one can vary a little bit too, so I might have to restart it a couple times. But there's one that basically just stays in sepia tone, and it's got it does in fact have a sunset in the background, and so maybe it'll appear at a significant point in time. You can go, haha, there it is. But another cool thing about it is it's got like a mountain silhouette backdrop, and there are like lights behind it that bounce and stuff at pivotal times, and I thought that was pretty cool. It kind of fit the Western motif a little bit. But yeah, this is just a song. It's just a really nice vibe, and I really like it, and I hope you do too. And then, as I mentioned before, the retro waves are done by Simon Evo. So thanks again, Simon. You are the king of Five Nights at Freddy's. By which I mean Audiosurf too. I hope you're doing okay. I wonder what you're doing these days. What kind of stuff are you modding? I might go look at their page, see what they're playing. Hopefully they haven't succumbed to Fortnite and are still living their game modding dreams. 5 waves at Retro. Ooh. 50 points to Gunderstank. I like that. Great. All right. So continuing the thought process, it was summer, daytime, and then we rode off into the sunset. So now it's tonight. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Cherub, but they are an artist that exists. They're kind of more like, I don't know if they're kind of like trolly or memey with their lyrics. I feel like they have a song called Doses and Mimosas. If you've heard of them, you probably are aware of that song, and yeah. It's interesting stuff, but for whatever reason I have this album, because I did find this song tonight, and I also think this song has immaculate vibes to it, to be honest, although once again, I'm not really sure I approve of the what the lyrics are saying, but in this case, it's more so because it implies use of many drugs, and them being needed for a relationship to work potentially, and just like just be careful with that stuff. Don't do too much of the drugs. Is all my concern. But aside from that, I do think the vibes in this song are immaculate, and I do want to play it. I found a really great, not straying too far from the retro wave vibes, honestly. I had a really hard time finding this last time. Hopefully it is not that hard this time. There it is. Neon Space Drive instead of retro wave. So we've done synthwave before, as well as the other retro waves. I don't think I've used this one yet, but I could be wrong on that. But this one's really cool. Like the retrowave New Year, it has a vaporwave moon instead of a sun, which I feel you don't see very often. But it fits with the theme of tonight, and honestly, I just like the color scheme, how it ends up with this one, how it bounces. On the chorus, it goes like back and forth between it's very nice. It's quite a vibe, just like the song is. Hopefully you like it. This one is not made by Simon Evo. This is made by Gingerbread, and it says it right there. I don't know why I'm looking at my phone. But thanks, Gingerbread. This one's really, really cool. I want to say you did synthwave too, and I like synthwave a lot. We're just not using it this time, but you're good at what you do. I hope you're doing okay, living your truth. All right, but yes, we're continuing the thought process. Summer, into the sunset. Now it's tonight, and there's going to be some more nighttime things to follow. But this is Tonight by Cherub, and I hope you like it. So we did summer, sunset, tonight. What do you do at nighttime? Do you sleep? You sleep sometime? Oh, if you're sleeping, then this must be my dream. All right. I've done some 1975 in the past. We checked out their, I think what's still their most recent album. A few tracks on that. This is from an older album of theirs, which was remove that. Okay. This is from this album. It's got a really long title, and it's you can't even read it on. You can barely fit it on the side. It's so stupid, but it's on the back. I like it when you sleep, for you are so beautiful yet so unaware of it. Why is that the name of the title of the whole album? I don't know. I don't know. I don't care about that. I don't care for that. But this was. I mean, I had known about the 1975 before this. Especially thanks to Guitar Hero Live, because they had Girls and Chocolate from them in there, and so I really grew to like those songs and that artist from there. But then I heard this, when this album was starting, I heard the sound on the radio, and that was really good. And just I have this album because someone I was doing a community theater with gifted it to me for a Christmas present, I believe. And this was the album where I really got into the band. Just really good stuff on here. I liked the hits, which it just has the album name on the back. It doesn't even have the track list. They're real mean. I'd have to open up the booklet. But this is the album that has the sound. Love Me, which I never liked. I just never liked that song, but it is a hit, so if you know that one, this is the album that has that. So it's got Love Me, The Sound, and Somebody Else, and I really like The Sound and Somebody Else. And then I just found so many great side tracks on here. This is one of them. There was also another one I was really hoping was on my phone called She's American, one of the opening tracks on the album. I would have absolutely loved to play that one. But there's a lot of slower tracks that are good. Paris is good. A Change of Heart, which was on there, but it's not really suited to this game all that well. And Nana are really good. But overall, this is just a really fantastic album that I like a lot. And I want to say, back when I had originally added a bunch of songs from this album, I want to say this is the one that took the longest for me to remove, because it's got a very interesting, very cool sound to it, and just I really like. I just really like it. Period. The verses are good. The choruses are good. It's got a weird middle section, but it makes up for it by having a saxophone solo in there, which automatically makes everything better, as you know. But yeah, it's just a really good song. Really good. The lyrics are a little weird. I did look them up recently to make sure I'm a little more accurate with them, but I probably will get them wrong because of force of habit. But just be aware of that. Okay, and so for this one, we're bringing back one from the second showcase, Electrica, which was used with the Mazaray and Cloud None song Promises, which I had heard at Decadence before that. It was a whole big thing. But I really like it with this song. It's very bright, but also there's a lot of color changing stuff to it, and when you hit the corkscrews, it builds and transforms a little more than you would expect, I would think. And just overall, you see it's got a very white motif to the album, and so I think the brightness of this really works and plays into that. And this is by Epicus Jones, which I think we've done a few of his. There's quite a few recurring people that just really dedicated themselves to Audiosurf 2 skins for a while. And there's a lot of cool stuff out there thanks to them. And believe it or not, there's even cooler stuff on the way. So, but yeah, this is 2016-ish, the 1975, I think, that album. and this must be my dream. Hope you like it. All right, so we could do. So recapping the train of thought here. Choo choo. Ha ha ha! You laugh at that. No, I didn't have that. Okay. But recapping the train of thought here. Summer is into the sunset. Was tonight, and then that must have been our dream. And it was a bad dream. Wake up, and then you're up all night. Alright, hitting our Owl City quota for the night. It's kind of surprising I haven't done this one yet. I did get some older ones from the phone files that I could have done instead. I got like Angels and Dreams Don't Turn to Dust, which I may have to do at a later time, but I felt like doing this one finally. Because this is another one that's really stuck with me, and I would probably say the same thing about this that I would say about that I said about Amy I by Jack's Mannequin, where you can find like better, deeper Owl City experiences, but this is one that's just really well produced, is how I'd like to put it. It's got a really good sound to it. I'm always in a mood to listen to it when. If for some reason I'm not in a mood to listen to the rest of Owl City, I'll listen to Up All Night. But just to put in perspective for you, this was coming off the heels of the Midsummer Station, which fans of Owl City would say is the dark times of Owl City, because it had just the really poppy sellout shit, because Good Time was on there, and that should be all you need to know. But if you listen to any song, or like most of the songs on Midsummer Station, aside from like maybe Silhouette, I think Silhouette was good. If you listen to any of the songs on the Midsummer Station and then go back and listen to any of the songs on his previous albums, you'll hear the difference, like especially in terms of like the lyrics, and just go, oh god, what happened? But then this EP came out, and this is the EP that gave us Beautiful Times, Wolf Bite, This Isn't the End, which I got pissed off at, because out of all the really good stuff on this EP, This Isn't the End is the thing that made it on the next album. Like, this was on that EP, and so this was like a sign of like, okay, maybe he's turning things around, and there was signs of hope. And the stuff after it was better. It's like Mobile Orchestra. I almost said like Megalithic Symphony, which is the AWOL Nation album, and not that. But Mobile Orchestra was a little bit better, and then after that we got the incredible Cinematic album, just very personal stuff. Might not have still been there lyrically like the original stuff, but it was just all very personal and like telling of like his past and everything. So you can tell like his heart was completely in it and stuff. He was back at that point. He was fully back, pushing things further than they had gone before. Be Brave on that album set a completely new standard. Might be cool to play in here at some point. I'd like to think I think I tried that, and I think I've been trying that too and didn't really find a highway that worked. But on the subject of phone files, there's another one that I would have really liked to have been on there. I think it's Thunderstruck off of the Mobile Orchestra album. I would have absolutely loved to play that one, but it was not in the files. So we'll have to get that another time. But for now, it's surprising I haven't done Up All Night already. I found a really great highway for it, so that's part of why I wanted to do it. For this one, we're bringing back Nightshade, which unfortunately I did just use in the last session. I think it was for Overworld's Colors of the Heart. But what you're going to notice is, so the thing about Nightshade is it is one of those where it uses the album artwork for the backdrop. It just has the album art back there. But for brighter ones, it's got a lot of bloom to it. So for brighter ones, it just like completely blinds it, or just like blends it all together, and you can't even really see what it is. And so when we did Colors of the Heart, it was the Overworld album artwork with their Greatest Hits album, which is like grayscale of like a mountain range or something, and it was all bloomed, and you probably couldn't even tell it was back there. And this one is dark. It just has that color spectrum there. You're definitely going to see that as we play. And honestly, that dark album art backdrop just almost completely transforms the skin to me and just makes it look fantastic. And because it has that color spectrum album artwork, the color spectrum that the skin has kind of accentuates and emphasizes that, and just looks really, really good. It fits it really well. I like it a whole lot, and hopefully you'll get where I'm coming from. And also, a lot of people have played this, and that's cool. That's great. I am second. We need to do something about that. I can't be not first on an Owl City song. But this is the other one by Bullet Fever 409. So thanks, Bullet Fever. This is actually a really, really cool one. This could end up. This is probably up there as one of my favorites, I would say, because like the color spectrum it does is nice, and then having that album art backdrop to have like a transformative aspect to it, very, very cool. Nice combination. Alright, so tonight, and this must be your dream, and then you wake up from the dream, and then you're up all night, and then after being up all night, you're like, wow. Alright, that one was a stretch, and it's not actually part of the train of thought, but that is the next song that we're doing. It says it's by various artists because it is from a movie soundtrack. It is from the Shrek 1 soundtrack. It's one of those random songs that just play during the credits, and they don't seem like they have anything to do with the movie at all. But the Shrek movies were really good at that. They just, like, at least the first three, I don't exactly remember if 4 had as many or did it as much or at all. I don't remember that one as much. But I know the first 3 have just a bunch of great songs that play in the credits, and they're great. They're fantastic. So this is actually by Leslie Carter, who is unfortunately no longer with us, if memory serves. As much of like a 1IQ song this is, it's very simple and poppy and everything, but it's one of those songs that can just like instantly make me happy. Like as soon as that chorus hits, I'm just like, oh yes. Oh, it's just so fantastic. I love it so much. I would love to be able to cover this song someday. I was on a trail where I think I had found some like piano sheet music or something for it, but it was like in Spanish. I don't know. But it's a very simple song, but I love it a lot. Hopefully, at the very least, you'll indulge me. and tolerate it, if not enjoy it yourself. But I'm especially excited because there is a skin that I have been trying to implement for a while, and I think this is finally the song to do it with. Airy Sunset. I believe I mentioned last time, or the showcase before that, that I found a skin where like the sun sets at a certain part of the song. It's like, I'm not sure exactly what place to put it at, like 2/3, 3/4, 4/5, like 85-ish% of the way through the song. It just randomly decides to set. And I've been waiting for like a pivotal. I've been trying it with a few different songs, trying to get it in. I think To the Sky by Owl City is one I was considering. That was just like okay. But then I got that soaring. I had that soaring skin and tried that out, and I'm like, well, we should probably do that. And I've tried it. There was something else I was trying it with, and I even tried it with a couple other songs in the list tonight. I was trying to get it to work. But for this one, I really like when it comes in. It's at like a pivotal part that like builds and then goes into like the end of the song. And it happens like in the middle of a corkscrew. So if you're not paying attention, the corkscrew will end and it'll just be like, oh, it's nighttime now. What happened? Cool. And I kind of like that aspect to it. And aside from that, as you can see in the thumbnail there, it does have some colors on the sides and for the blocks and stuff. And that is color changing, dynamic with the intensity of the song. And it just happened to work out that for most of the song, for the verses, it likes to stay on green, which is appropriate because Shrek. It's from the Shrek soundtrack. So I thought it was relevant for that reason too. And it's I don't actually have the Shrek soundtrack. It was kind of a bootleg copy, so it was kind of a miracle that I was able to rip it at all. But I think the song just works just fine. Like in my trying to find skins and stuff for it, I've had to play the song several times, as I do, and so it's worked just fine all those times. And this skin is by 849. That's their username, just those 3 numbers. So thanks so much, 849. This one's really cool. I'm excited to finally show it, or have like what I feel is an appropriate song that like does the sunset properly in an exciting way. Because it is very touch and go, because it's like a very specific increment of the song. I don't know how they calculate it, but it can make or break the experience just based on when that sunset randomly happens. But I think this is a good one. So we're doing Like Wow by Leslie Carter. Alright, we are at the emotional high point of the night, the climax, if you will, with 4 songs remaining. But this is like the hugest of the hugest songs that I can play. So I did mention Something Corporate before in another Andrew song, and this is it. So painting the picture for you. So back in 2007, I was a high school children. I was in my room doing like schoolwork on my work, or on my school supplied laptop. I mentioned previously in the night I was doing a lot of projectplaylist.com, finding music and stuff. Even though the first Jack's Mannequin album had come out in 2005, and I was aware of the mixtape for that long, It wasn't until this period in 2007 where I decided to like fully explore that album. I used Project Playlist to do that, listened to the whole album, and was like, oh, holy shit, this is like my new favorite artist of all time. And then soon after that, I heard about the new album coming out, and the Glass Passenger album that I showed before, and I like hyped that up so much that I had heard a version of every single song that was going to be on the album before the album even released. Do you understand how ridiculous that is? But I was looking up live versions whenever he was playing new songs. I was on like his fan website and stuff, and just looking up news and everything I could get. I was so hyped for it. But as a part of that, in my research of originally getting into Jack's Mannequin, I had discovered that he had a band before that, or a project before that, called Something Corporate, which I had never heard of until doing that research. And so, continuing to use Project Playlist, I looked up some Something Corporate songs, and the first Something Corporate song that I found and tried was this song, The Astronaut, and it changed me. It's ascendant. It is on a higher plane of existence. So like Something Corporate as a band is a little more rock oriented, because they were they were teenagers at the time, practically. Andrew even has a later song called Teenage Rock Stars about that period in time. But this, and this song does lean into that vibe a little bit, but there's a beauty to it. Has some really powerful lyrics in there that it reiterates and things like that. There's a string part to it that's just incredible. Like, oh my god! But just like, this was crazy for a first impression. And I like a lot of Something Corporate songs as I continue to look into them after the fact. Although I do think as a whole, Jack's Mannequin is still my favorite project of his. But I would put Something Corporate second, and then I would put his current one, In the Wilderness, probably third, is how I would do it. But I eventually had to get this album as well. This is off of their first full-length album, Leaving Through the Window, which they had, I think they just had two major albums. Their album after this, North, is a little more somber and a little more artsy looking. There are some pretty deep, powerful, emotional songs on there as well, but I do think my favorite songs from the band are stuck on this album. Because this one, and then another one that sticks with me a lot, I Woke Up in a Car, one of their hits, is probably like the more timeless one. Then I think I could also play at some point, but for the sake of tonight, I wanted to do this one. But this is a really good album, I think. It's another 14-track album. I pretty much like the first 10, and then it kind of falls off a little bit toward the end. But just really good stuff. Just reading off the tracks, because I like all of them. I Want to Save You, Punk Rock Princess is another famous one. I Woke Up in a Car, like I mentioned. If You See Jordan, which is more funny than anything else. Just about like some bully or something, or some kid that's trying too hard to be cool by bullying other people, and they just like call him out, and it's, I don't know. But yeah, The Astronaut's fifth on there. Hurricane is a big one for them. Kavanaugh Park is a beautiful song. Fall is good. I really like Straw Dog a lot. Straw Dog is good. And then Good News, which I haven't really gotten into. I didn't really get into until several years later. But yeah, just a really powerful album. Some really good stuff on here. And then I am so happy for this particular song and how much it means to me. With it, I have found the most beautiful skin that you can possibly get in this game. And that skin is called Blue Marble. Because I was so upset for a while, because you've probably seen them in here. I have some, where are they? are they? I have like a bunch of space themed ones. There should be some orbits somewhere. Yeah, I have orbits, and I tried all these space things, like looking at the planet, and I didn't like any of them. They just didn't do it for me. I was gonna go with this inner city one at first, because it was hitting kind of right. But I luckily found this one in a more recent search, and it is beautiful. And what it does is it repeatedly goes through a like time lapse of planet Earth. So you'll see like the sunrise in a corner, and then all the way to the sunset, and then it'll go away, and then it'll come back, and it kind of just loops it. But the quality of it is so good and so nice. And the hope is that it'll do the transition at like pivotal points in the song, and I think it accomplishes that a little bit. And this is by Toby1248. Thank you so much, Toby. I really needed this. This is a gorgeous skin, and it's an honor. I'm just so happy that I'm giving it basically the highest honor I can by playing it with this song that is incredibly important to me, incredibly influential to just so much of my musical taste, and just I just please understand the significance of this moment. Oh god. But yeah, that's just gorgeous skin, and oh man, being able to do it for that song, and it just to hit that well. I hope the vibes were immaculate for you too, but just that song is just really powerful and meaningful for me personally, and I don't know if it'll get quite there for other people, but I just really cherish that song so much. Always has that special place, being the very first Something Corporate song I ever listened to, and just man. Oh, the string parts are just immaculate. Oh my god. It's so fucking beautiful. Alright. We're almost done. Alright. This one perhaps won't hit as hard as that one will, but there is kind of a finality to it, and getting a little meta for a moment. Well, I did mention there was one more Old Dominion song, and so we're doing that now. This is Song for Another Time, which is an actual hit on the album. I mean, I liked the previous two hits before this one, but this was the one that was like, oh shit, this is really good. I need this album. Found a whole lot of other stuff on the a lot of fun side songs on the album. There's another one called Half Empty that's fun that I probably could play at a later time. I really did want to do Beer Can in a Truck Bed because that's a very fun one, but this is kind of a somber one. It's like someone you love is going away and just trying to make the most of that time, like the last night that they're here. And within that, like a lot of the lyrics of the song are just like other song names. And so it's just like, we'll listen to this song and this song and this song, but me being sad, that's a song for another time. And just like, it's very meta and cool, and you can see it, I can kind of see it the other way, where like that could be a reason you don't like it, because it's just like name dropping a bunch of other songs. You could pull the Peter Griffin, it insists upon itself in that regard, but I really like the song, and I hope you do too, whether you know it already or not. For this one is actually fun because I've been holding on to this skin forever, and I don't think I've used it in anything. We did use, I don't know why they're not together, but we did use Staccato Classic at some point for one of the Bendy fan songs. That was pretty good. I want to say that was the very first one, DA Games. Not Build Our Machine, the other one. Gospel of Dismay, which I really like. We used it for that, and I thought it was relevant. But now we're going to use Staccato 2, which has a lot more color to it. And something about like taking the meta like Song for Another Time and playing that on basically a sheet music highway kind of adds to that. Maybe the notes will will ascend or descend appropriately at a certain time. But also along with that, the notes kind of have a almost like so the color varies, but there's almost like a neon sign type of effect to them, because it's like the outline, it doesn't look like that at all really, but it's almost it almost gives kind of like a country or like bar type vibe in that regard as well. So I thought it works on that level too. But it's very colorful, very expressive skin, and this is a very powerful song. There's a bit of finality to it with how it ends, I feel. And it's going to segue into the final two songs a little bit, so it serves that purpose too. But I hope you like it. This skin is also by Simon Evo because it's cool, therefore. But I mean, if Simon Evo didn't make Blue Marble, so you know that's something. But alright, well, this is Song for Another Time by Old Dominion. Here we go. So, Chekhov's gun has been mentioned on the channel before. And if you're not familiar, it's basically the theory in writing or just story structure where if you mention or point something out at some point, say for example, a gun is hung above a fireplace in Act 1, or a Tom Sawyer album art is showed at the beginning of a stream, you gotta do something with it toward the end. So, as a finale here, I'm gonna force you to put up with not one, but two songs from the Tom Sawyer movie. Because yes, I do in fact have the soundtrack to this weird ass movie. But here's the unusual thing about this, and and here's why I'm like not allowed to forget it, or I don't want to forget it. It's this furry Tom Sawyer movie is from 2000. It is a straight to video, straight to DVD animated movie from MGM. If you've seen The Secret of Nim 2, Timmy to the Rescue, I think it's literally the same people that did Secret of Nim 2 did this movie. Like there's even some characters that look like some of those characters, and I think some of the voice actors returned. And so just like with that in mind, like a low budget straight to video movie, but in spite of that, they got a bunch of country, like actual country music artists on this soundtrack to do songs for this movie. Like I guess the pedigree behind Tom Sawyer is enough of just like, oh yeah, okay, I'll do but just like I feel like 90% of the budget for the movie went to that. Like let me read. So we've got Leanne Womack, like I Hope You Dance, Leanne Womack. Mark Wills, Don't Laugh at Me, Mark Wills. I'm pretty sure Ray Stevens is famous. Mark Nessler. Brian White, I don't think is necessarily a country artist, but I think they're famous too. We got like Rhett Akins is Tom. Mark Wills is Huck Finn. Leanne Womack is Becky Thatcher. I think Charlie Daniels is famous too, but just like how I'm just baffled like how they got all these people. But like I watched this movie as a children, and like the songs are like what kept it in my memory. I mean, like the art style and the character designs were a part of it, but just like that paired with the songs, like I would even go as far as to say like the entire reason I like country music in the first place is because of the songs in this movie. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, I was exposed to this as a kid, and it's stuck with me. I can't forget it. And I think I've seen the entire movie on YouTube. If you ever just want to watch it, it might be split into segments, but it's all there. Hopefully along those lines, that means they don't care about the copyright and we can play. But we probably passed that point anyway. But it's got nice art and like a nice design and stuff to it. It's got like the wood on the side there. But who the fuck came up with this green? It's a very ugly green. Like if maybe the title text was a different color, maybe it would look better. I think where they got it from is like, let's just take the title text and just make that the color of that. But it's very ugly. And then I do have a DVD copy of the movie that doesn't have very good packaging either. It's kind of a thing for this, but it's, yeah, I don't know. But I actually have this soundtrack. There are songs that I listen to from it. We're gonna play a couple of them. So you can have fun with that. I don't think it's not that one. So I gotta go digging for it. In all the better songs that we could play instead. That was the suite up there. The suite would not be good. I find even the score to the movie surprisingly good, to be honest. Like, despite even the actual songs. Alright, so this is the first one we're doing. I'll paint the picture for you if you're unfamiliar with the movie, and let's face it, pretty much everyone except me is. So this is the song. Fairly early on in the movie, Tom met Becky Thatcher at school, follows her home, tries to like get inside to sweet talk her and stuff some more. She's in like this mansion type thing, and there's this butler guy that tries to keep him out, keep him away. I think the dad is there too, doing the same thing. But yeah, it's Mark Nessler. It's called Hook, Line, and Sinker, and as the title suggests, there's a lot of fishing puns. You cast your love, I'll take the bait. There's more than that. I was going to have other examples, but I'll let it speak for itself, I guess. It even includes a little dreamy sequence where they turn into fish for a bit and they're swimming around in the movie, and that's fun. It's a fun sequence. It's a fun sequence. Yeah, this is just a really fun one that we're gonna start off with. And for this one, because the album art has been such a talking point, we're gonna do album cover reversion, so it's gonna be splattered everywhere around. Oh, it's gonna be great. We're doing it for the memes. We're going all in. And this is by Fog Breath. So thanks, Fog Breath. There are a couple album art ones, and we're using yours. Alright. Wasn't that fun? Alright. Alright, there's just one more left, guys. I've put my heart out on the table tonight, shared a lot of personal stories about these songs and my history with them. I've had a lot of fun. It's been an emotional night for me. After the time we spent together, I think we could take our relationship to the next level. After tonight, I think that we're probably friends for life. For the last song of the night, this is the great big Tom and Huck are always gonna be friends song. And it's got a whole like fantasy dream sequence to it too, which is really great. This might have been the song that stuck with me the most, honestly. It's pretty nice. It does fall, like, the previous one fell more into like actual country song territory. This one falls more into like movie song territory, I would say, but it's still very good. And I am going to complement the dreamy nature of the sequence itself with a really cool, crazy skin, if I can find it. Where is it? I thought it would be at the bottom, and it wasn't. Aha! I found an awesome Kirby skin, which you would think would be really far away from Tom Sawyer type stuff, but the dream sequence does feature like rainbows and clouds and sentient trees and all kinds of stuff like that. I think even the sun has a face on it, like Teletubbies. It's crazy. It's crazy. But this was done by Theanine 3D, Theanine 3D, Kissing. But thanks, Theanine. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. I keep trying to find skins like this, and a lot of them don't turn out very good, but this one's actually very nice. Alright, so final song of the night, number 26, Friends for Life by Rhett Akins and Mark Wills. Alright. I know we ran a little late, but that is the full playlist. I am sorry. I should have known what I was getting into with adding like so many songs, but there was a lot to get through this time with all the files that we got. There were some things I didn't include, but hopefully we'll have a more streamlined list next time. It also would have helped to start, because if I had started an hour earlier like I wanted, then it would have been 11:45 right now instead of 12:45 for me, which would have been a little more okay. But yeah. Did you guys have a favorite song? What vibes hit the best tonight? I know we did all kinds of stuff. It might be hard to remember. But yeah, like usual, I will eventually edit this down to a presentable format over on YouTube, so the DMCA doesn't get me. It could take a few months like it did last time. I do apologize for the wait. It's kind of an extensive process as it is, and this one's twice as long as, but I'll get to it eventually. But thank you so much for hanging out with me as long as you did. I know we ran a little late tonight, and I do appreciate you sticking with me. Appreciate the support as always, because they're my regulars. If you're watching this at a later time after it's been edited down and stuff, I appreciate your support as well, and I'm sorry it took so long in advance. But that's going to be it for tonight. I will see you all again Wednesday night, and we'll do something. But it probably won't be as special as this. At least this was special to me. I hope it was special for you too in some capacity. But I'll see you next time, and have a good night.